Hey, welcome to our 2-Minute Tuesdays. I'm Mike. So we're Mike and Brandy Brown with Keller Williams Realty. Hey, so every Tuesday we want to bring you just a little tidbit about real estate that most consumers may not know or may not fully understand. So today, what I want to talk about are surveys. In the last couple of years, buyers, because they have wanted to make their offer seem most attractive to sellers, buyers have been electing not to do a survey. And this is risky for a buyer. And so I just want to talk about for a couple of minutes why when you buy a property, you really want a survey every time. So what is a survey? Really quickly, a survey is a map of the property that you're buying, whether it is a small lot in a neighborhood or whether it is a large piece of acreage. The survey is going to go by the specific legal description and draw out exactly where your property boundaries are. But it's not just having that piece of paper. It's also, maybe marking the boundaries on the actual physical property so you can see where it is. Why is that important? Well, because what happens if you buy a piece of property and your neighbor's fence is actually on your property? Or what happens if you buy a piece of property and your driveway actually crosses over your neighbor's property? What if you buy a piece of property and you didn't realize that there's a utility easement that goes through the middle of your property? And what if you buy a piece of property that doesn't touch a road, but you thought or you were told that you had an easement across a neighbor's property to get to your property, but that easement doesn't really exist? It's not documented. What do you do then? Well, that's a whole other topic on how to address each of those things. But the question is, as a buyer, if you knew any of those things, would that dissuade you from actually buying that piece of property? Some maybe yes, some maybe no. Would it potentially change the way you use the property? Potentially. But regardless, that's why as a buyer you want to have a survey. So how much does a survey cost? Generally, it just depends on what size of property is, how complex. Is it a perfect square? Does it have a lot of turns in the property line, the boundaries, etc.? So they can be as inexpensive as $400 to $500. They could be a little bit more expensive if it's more complex or larger, $5,000 or more. So the cost is really wide ranged. How do I coach my sellers? So when I have sellers that they get an offer for a purchase and the buyer wants a survey, what do I say? You know what I tell my sellers? Like, it's okay. It's certainly the buyer's right, but it only takes a couple of weeks to get a survey, and that means most likely we'll be able to close on time. So that's really what needs to happen all the way around. So we hope this has been helpful for you. If you've got any questions about surveys or the implications thereof, certainly reach out to your favorite realtor. Always feel free to reach out to Brandy and myself. We are Mike and Brandy Brown with Keller Williams Realty here in Birmingham, Alabama.